Never miss the latest Game Tea. Check us out on social media. You can find us on Facebook at The Game Tea Podcast, and you can find us on Twitter at Game Tea Podcast X. We post memes, gaming news, retweet friends of the pod, and of course, let you know when new episodes are available for your sippin' pleasure. Links are all available in the description of this episode, so check them out after the show, and thank you so much for listening to the Game Tea Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Game Tea Podcast. My name is JP.
I'm Peaches.
And I'm Zach. And I'm Zar.
Wow, Zar, I didn't know you were joining us. That sounds exactly like him.
Here's my little flute thingy.
So Zar's not with us, but just in case you didn't know, our good friends over at Rainbow Road finally had their comeback episodes come out within the last few months. They did a fucking giveaway of an automaton that's like shaped, it's like Kirby, right, Zach? It's shaped like Kirby.
Okay, well, actually, let me just, it's like, imagine Kirby sucked up an automaton.
Oh, mouthful mode. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. That's why we got you here, Peaches. That's very
the fact checker.
So before we actually get into what we're doing with the episode today, the itinerary, Peaches, I promised you a little bit of time in the next episode. Let's talk about your Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel deck.
All right, so I made this new deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, right?
Uh-huh.
Now, back in the day, I used to beat down kids with it on, kids being JP, Zach, our other friends that played Yu-Gi-Oh!, Tekken, the rest.
We're just lucky we had friends, to be honest.
And let me tell you, this deck sucks ass now. I can't do anything, even when I get Archlord Christia out on the field. It doesn't work. But man, it brings back some memories.
What's the deck?
It's my old fairy deck. You don't remember that?
Oh my god, I do.
I remember it because it was a counter of mine back in the day. But I got support and you didn't, so yo!
Yeah.
That's what's been great about coming back to Master Duel, is like fucking everything has support now. I actually really appreciate that. Like, it's funny you mentioned that, Peaches, because like when I got into it, I wanted to build another Ancient Gear deck because that's what I used to play with you, and Ancient Gear got a shit ton of support, and I've got a pretty solid deck that I'm using right now.
Yeah, I mean, you got up to gold in it,
yeah.
So.
I'm gold, like gold 3, gold 2, I'm fluctuating. Zach, what are you running right now?
I'm Galaxy Eyes for life. Apparently it's got a new archetype. It's like Galaxy Eyes Cypher or whatever, but yeah, it's primarily Galaxy Eyes. But yeah, this thing got like oodles of support. It's got like Link monsters. The only thing it doesn't have is like a Synchro monster, but like, I don't need a Synchro monster. Who needs a Synchro monster?
I mean, besides pendulums, like synchros are the other one I'm not all that big on.
And it even has, and I just found this out, a new Karibo. And the Karibo's effect, it's a wall of text, as Peaches will let you know, is you can show your like friend one of your extra deck monsters, and it becomes the level of that extra deck monster, and then it's just a free level 8 that can't be destroyed by battle.
Really?
Yeah. So it's a good way to keep the deck from like bricking. It's pretty nice.
That is really nice.
See, sometimes I can play Valhalla Hall of the Fallen and summon Archlord Christia, and then my opponent can't special summon. But then they destroy Archlord Christia and they can special summon again.
That's so fucking annoying.
Yeah, so there's like this thing called Lightning Storm, and then Regeki got unbanned. Like, I think Regeki's at 3. You can play 3 fucking Regekis.
I think it's at 1.
No way.
I think Lightning Storm.
1.
Regeki's at 1. Lightning Storm is at 3.
Huh.
And Monster Reborn is back too at just 1, right?
Yep.
I'm glad they're making some good choices here. I'm really liking where Yu-Gi-Oh's at right now, to be honest.
I don't know, man.
Well, it's like there's no reason to have Monster Reborn be banned anymore because people are literally just yanking stuff out of their graveyard anyways, so.
Boy, isn't that the fucking truth.
I have a love-hate with it because it's just like, it's either over in one turn or it's like this like 10 duel slugfest of craziness. And I kind of my ADHD loves the one duels, but I also get why it's definitely changed from back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, that's like my biggest complaint about Yu-Gi-Oh! Is it's very unforgiving for new people that want to get into it, you know? It's not like it was back in the day where, you know, 10 to 12 turns is typical. Now it's like, if you don't have a solid field out in at least 2 turns, like, you're kind of fucked.
Which, I mean, if you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Competitively, that's, you know, that's for you to figure out. If you're just playing for funsies, come on back, guys. It's a good time.
All right, Peaches, you feel better? You talked about your deck.
Yeah. All right, let's move into it.
All right, Zach, give us the itinerary. What are we doing for today?
I'm not your itinerary, bitch. All right, on the itinerary today, we have a short episode because we're worried about Zara's mental health. Is that a joke? That shouldn't be a joke. Anyway, I'm worried about Zara, so we're doing it short. That's a serious thing because I care about my friends. I'm not afraid to admit it.
I mean, the Nintendo Direct episode was an hour and a half, so.
And I didn't even talk about Xenoblade for an hour. So, I mean, like, I get it. But we all made compromises on that last one.
Except me. I compromised nowhere.
Yeah.
And I talked about No Man's Sky right away.
Which is surprising because you're usually the problem child. Like, you're telling me it wasn't Peach's fault? That can't be right.
Hey, now.
Well,
It was probably his fault.
Well.
Due to, like, the universe.
somewhere along the line.
Right, exactly. All right, so with it being a short episode, I'm going to start dilly-dally. We're going to talk about the big Cyberpunk patch. They have a new... we'll just talk about it then. Phil Spencer didn't wait too long to start the Activision buyout. Thank God. Rare Games found in Nebraska? And then we'll do quick takes and game releases.
All right, so this first guy belongs to you, Peaches. So what's going on with Cyberpunk?
All right, so I don't want to take up too much time because I know we have talked about Cyberpunk a lot and Zach is sick of it, even though he bought the game and hasn't played it yet.
It was $10.
Yeah, but you haven't played it yet, so basically you just threw $10 in the garbage as of right now.
You know, technically I threw $70 in the garbage as of now too because I bought Horizon and haven't played that. So maybe I'm the problem. Let's keep going.
Okay, but anyways... so they just released patch 1.5, and this patch is absolutely massive. They have done so many things to improve the game in this patch, and I'm just gonna go over the big ones because as of right now, the reception to this is extremely positive. Like, people are really liking this patch. I've seen some screen grabs from like the next generation, Cyberpunk on PS5 and Xbox Series. And the game looks really good, much better than it did on Xbox One and PS4. So I'm just going to get into the main points of this article, the things that people have been raving about for this patch. So the first one is the bug fixes, obviously, right? People very rightly noted all of the bugs that were in Cyberpunk on release. And now we are about a year separated from its release. Is that right? I think a year and some change.
Yeah, give or take. I want to say it was like 2 Decembers ago.
December 10th, 2020.
Yep. Okay.
So, in this patch, they had so many bug fixes that in their patch notes they didn't have space to list all of the bug fixes, so they just listed the big ones. Again, I'm not going to go into the bug fixes because, you know, the game's less buggy.
It's
now.
not entertaining.
Yeah,
it's not entertaining. It's
they fixed the T-posing pretty quickly, so I mean, what can you do?
That's the one I wanted them to keep. The naked motorcycle T-posing was amazing.
All right.
Could you imagine, like, you're in a car chase and, like, you look in the rear view window and there is a naked T-posing man on a motorcycle running towards you. Like,
but he's on a motorcycle. How is he running?
That's what's crazy about it.
The motorcycle is on its wheels and the seat is just a treadmill that he's running on.
You're just like, this is the craziest shit I've ever seen. I'm done.
That's dominance right there, baby. But anyways, other than the bug fixes, they also have extended out the romances. Like, so now with any romance option that you pick, there are more interactions, there's more dialogue options, you can do more in the romances than you could previously, because as many noted, the romance was pretty short between with most characters. You do your little arc with the character, and then they kind of fucked off.
That's what my wife tells me.
Ayo! Am I right, fellow men?
Krista, please love me.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, I'm lonely.
Next, they have a lot of balance changes to the skill trees, to enemies, to the overpowered abilities that you could get. They completely rebalanced it, so like either completely removing some skills because they were useless or way too strong, to moving stuff in the trees around so you don't have access to like the really strong abilities right away to make your character basically a god before you got to endgame. So yeah, there's a lot of rebalancing stuff, so the game actually, has more tangible challenge even if you are not playing on like the hardest difficulty, which is a great lead into my next point, where they made the hardest difficulty actually difficult, because part of the problem with the hardest difficulty is, one, it wasn't hard enough, like just based on enemies, not being strong enough to actually compete with you. To also, the previous thing I talked about, where the balance was so out of whack that you could literally wipe everybody on the hardest difficulty, no problem at all, because you were so overpowered so quickly. So
that's another thing I noticed is like everybody was so fucking squishy. Like you just never came across like a medium strong enemy. They were either squishy or very strong, just nothing else.
Right, and like I remember very early in the game, I actually had a lot of trouble on the hardest difficulty playing against. Like I was clearing out one of like those gang hideout places. I had a lot of trouble with it, like when I first started the game, because I didn't have any abilities. Just me, my limited ammo, and what have you. But I really quickly noticed that with the levels I was getting, I was becoming way too strong for any of those events to actually pose a threat. Now,
interesting. Okay.
I already mentioned how it's much better on next gen. And so, people are pretty excited about it being, looking how it was supposed to on the next gen consoles, and
right.
People playing it on those next gen consoles are generally happy with what they've gotten. And the last thing that I didn't put in the script here, apparently they also rebalanced like the clothing options, so like you don't have to have your character look like a total goob to have them wearing the best like armor and stats that they could possibly have at the time.
Thank God.
So yeah.
I mean, in Cyberpunk's defense, that's a big problem with a lot of games, is just like the best gear makes you look like a fucking fool.
Yeah.
But still, that's a welcome fix.
And I'll, overall, I'm actually really happy about this patch, and I think I'm probably gonna hop into Cyberpunk again here soon because of it, because this is big and people are very happy about it, which is a very long way away from where we started when Cyberpunk was released.
You know what? I was just thinking about that too. It's like this game has come a really long way, and even though I did enjoy my first playthrough, might be time for another one where I change literally nothing because Pan Am is bae.
Well, I mean, maybe go hang out with Judy.
Judy's cool and all, but Pan Am, man.
Anyways, so that's all I have to say about Cyberpunk. If you guys have any thoughts or questions or concerns.
Not really. It's just, they're welcome. It's just, I'm so happy that they continue to give this game the attention that it deserves. It's just so sad to, like, think and ask yourself, like, is any of this, like, gonna repair the damage to the reputation? Like, for us, the answer is obviously yes, but for your more casual gamer that was so excited about Cyberpunk, like, are they going to return to this game and give it another chance? I hope so. We'll see.
Good food for thought. I'm in the same boat as you, JP. It's just like, hey, CD Projekt Red's a good company. Like, there's just no doubt about it. Like, there's some shit things that happened on, but the developers there, the talent they have is there. How this went about was clearly mishandled, and hopefully the top dogs who messed this up get in some sort of trouble for that, but probably not. Anyway.
I mean, it's been too long. The people, the executives that caused the whole issue, nothing happened.
Right.
They're still there.
And plus, nobody ever for a minute, like, doubted the talent of the developers there. I mean, we're talking about the same studio that made The Witcher 3. Which some people, including you two, argue is like one of the, if not the best video game you've ever played. So, I don't know.
Standalone, not series included, Witcher 3 is the best game I've ever played.
That's what I'm saying. So, Zach, you're actually in a really great opportunity. here that I think a lot of people are, where they didn't see the mess that Cyberpunk was, and now they have the opportunity to play Cyberpunk in the way they really wanted Cyberpunk to be played. Like, if there's a time to get into Cyberpunk, I think now's really the best time to do it, because they finally gave this game the big band-aid.
That's a fair point, and this could be a really good time to get into Cyberpunk. I'm gonna say probably the best time to get into Cyberpunk is gonna be around the same time that people got into Witcher, is after their 2 big DLCs dropped for it, like the 2 massive story DLCs that improved the game incredibly and added so many fun new things to do. I'm gonna say that's probably going to be the best time, but we just can't see that far into the future for Cyberpunk.
Is The Witcher?
That's absolutely
Is The Witcher?
fair.
Was it that bug? Was it as buggy as when like the Cyberpunk
It wasn't.
came out?
I know what you're saying. It wasn't as buggy as Cyberpunk on release, but it was bugged. Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, in Skyrim too, like sometimes like these big games you just can't cover everything. So
You really can't. It's true. All right, I'm very excited for the Cyberpunk news. What do we have up next on the docket?
So next up is Microsoft. They're starting the Activision acquisition talks 3 days after a bombshell report. This is coming to us from Yahoo.com, and it is by Zach Zweisen. I really tried.
Zweisen.
Okay, and there's a picture of Bobby Kotick, so I'm going to close the article and just hope that Peaches gets some good talking points.
Yeah, I got you.
Is that what Bobby Kotick looks like? What a goober.
Right? Just fucking disgusting.
I never actually saw him.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that this guy. Well, actually, you know what? Now that I'm looking at it, it's not hard to believe. No, this guy definitely is on Epstein's Black Book for sure. I can tell.
So,
Oh, great. Now we're on a list or something. Great job, Peaches.
November 16, 2021, a report was published that claimed Activision CEO Bobby Kotick was well aware of harassment happening within his company. It is also alleged that he himself mistreated women both inside and outside of work. So again, if you don't understand why we hate this guy, that's why. At least that's a big part of it. And this,
right, because he contributed to this awful fucking work culture
he helped lead it. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Now, so that is why, like, I'm just happy that Microsoft bought them, because I'm hoping that, God, nothing bad happens to these guys, and it just is absolutely awful. Like, that they're above the law. Are we getting political? I don't know. Anyway, Bobby Kotick is just so rich that nothing bad will happen to him, which is just kind of where we're at. So Microsoft at least kicking him out and sending him away with his, is it $200 million? Like, he's not getting a bad jib out of this at all.
Well, the thing is, he's still going to be there for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
And that's
at
just
least, like, if that's saying they get rid of him at all.
Right.
And I'm so, like, anytime we talk about Blizzard now, I'm just so angry because they have some of the best gaming worlds. They have clearly some of the best gaming talent, and they just shit on their people left and right because they could. So I'm hoping that Microsoft acquisition will actually fix that culture.
Right.
Obviously, Microsoft is saying all the right things, but it's one thing to say it, another thing to do it. So this was a $68 billion acquisition, and it's shaping the gaming landscape. JP, what are you thinking here, Dan? What's going on?
I think the piece here that, like, this article in particular is really trying to highlight is the fact that it only took Xbox 3 days of looking at this shitstorm to start kind of twiddling their maniacal fingers and be like, this seems like a really great time to acquire some new stuff.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
I guess, yeah. So I remember when we actually talked about Bobby Kotick's new role and what exactly he's going to be doing from here on out. I made the comment, we need to watch Microsoft very, very closely. Because, you know, like, if they don't get rid of Kotick, essentially what they're saying is, you know, we know what this guy did and we don't care. Because at the end of the day, it's about our money. Right? Well, like, this piece comes out and it's just like, okay, it only took 3 days for these motherfuckers, including the beloved Phil Spencer, to see this shitstorm and find an opportunity within the tragedy. And I think that's disgusting. And it pisses me off.
That's the thing where it bothers me is Phil Spencer comes out and makes a statement talking about, you know, essentially saying, you know, it's horrible that they were treating people this way, blah, 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 blah. And when I see this article pointing out that they started it 3 days after, it makes me look at that and go, okay, so you never actually cared about, these people that were being mistreated in the company, and you were just making a statement for the aesthetic, which I know we should all expect at this point, but it does suck to see this.
Exactly. Especially since, even us on this podcast, we've talked up Phil Spencer before. There's plenty of people who have listened to us and then go, Phil Spencer really is the golden boy within the gaming industry. But then you hear about shit like this and it's heartbreaking. It's like, oh my, I guess it's not as altruistic as it kind of appears on the surface. And to be fair, I do think that Microsoft actually does want to take more precautions in changing the culture of Activision Blizzard. I don't think that part's changed, but it does suck to see that more of the catalyst of that happening was just more business greed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was always known that they weren't buying Activision Blizzard out of the goodness of their hearts to go fix the company. They were buying it because they wanted to make more money, and Activision Blizzard makes a lot of money.
Yes, they do. They make a lot of money.
Now, granted, it should be noted at this point, this deal might not even go through. I know the FTC is looking into it. I don't know. Whatever government organization that looks over company mergers to try to prevent monopolization is looking into this deal closer.
It's way above our pay grade.
The SEC, I'm sorry.
FCC, okay.
They're looking into this. This deal might not even go through.
I mean, I don't even know how I feel anymore. I feel bad for the people who go into this industry genuinely really wanting to make great content, great video games, and even commentators like us who just want to talk about our favorite games and get out the news, and how it's just overshadowed by the same greedy business fuckheads that run everything. It sucks, but it's just kind of the reality we live in, right?
Yeah. Zach, we kind of stole this article from you.
No, and it's fine. There's only so many things that I think you guys hit the point. It just sucks that one of my World of Warcraft, it just hurts me to play now. I just don't explain it. It's like it's like your best friend cheated on you. You know what I mean? I guess it's kind of sappy. I'm trying to think of that. I don't know.
Did we ever get a total on the amount of hours you've spent in WoW?
It's over a year of my life was on playtime.
Jesus Christ.
There's some nights where I would pass out. There's some nights I did some botting. But yeah, it's a lot of my time went to that video game, and so it sucks to see it go down the big old hole it went down. Because, and let's be real, World of Warcraft was going downhill before this whole, I guess, because it's actually a long-standing problem. But yeah, I guess that's a different point. But World of Warcraft has not been good since 2010, but it's been serviceable until 2014, and it's had very much a roller coaster ride since. But still, we'll see what they end up doing here with all this. And hopefully Microsoft isn't just doing it for the money. They're probably just doing it for the money, but they do some nice, good stuff with it too, at least. Anything else you guys want to say before we go on to the next article?
I do just want to reiterate my point. I do think that Microsoft, if this acquisition goes through all the way, will make attempts to fix the culture, but with the catalyst of business greed. So it's you kind of have to look at it things will get better. It's do you ever see those stupid TikTokers that videotape themselves giving money or food to homeless people? I have mixed feelings about that, because on one side, it's clearly that they're not doing it from the goodness of their heart. They're doing it to get clout, right? But on the other hand, that homeless person did get money, or they did get food. You know what I'm saying? It's mixed feelings.
Yes.
I don't know.
Here's the thing. There's already been some bad stuff that's going on with in relation to this acquisition, and that if you look at when was the last time you heard about the unionization efforts at Activision Blizzard, right? That's fallen by the wayside.
Since the last time we talked about it.
Exactly. No one is talking about it anymore, and it seems to be effectively shut down because everything got overshadowed by this acquisition.
God damn it. It's just I used to be one of these corporate stooges, right? And it was for a construction company, but I understand exactly how these people think. And I also saw exactly how it affects people that are lower down on the ladder. It's so shitty. I hate it. I would rather talk about something else that's shitty. My home state of Nebraska.
Boom.
Which is what this next article is about, and what I think is one of my best segues ever. So, Zach and I live in Nebraska. Peaches, are you originally from Nebraska? Ches, you lived somewhere before this.
I lived
before Nebraska.
I lived in Georgia and North Carolina before I lived in Nebraska.
Hey, he's Georgia born like me.
Mwah.
That's where you got the name Peaches, right? Nothing to do with Target.
No. That's not where it came from.
Peaches was born in a peach. Wait, peaches? Do they grow on trees?
Yeah.
Peaches was born from a peach bush. The beach.
If you played Stardew Valley, you would know that they grow on trees.
Or Animal Crossing.
I never grew peaches. Oh, wait, yeah, peach tree. I'm so stupid. God damn.
No, you're not. You don't think about it. It's just something that happens. You just never think about that shit.
And I just plucked the peaches straight off the vine.
Nope, that sounds wrong now.
Straight from the peach vine. All right, so this article is coming to us from Eurogamer.com, written by Ed Nightingale. What a name!
That's pretty sick.
It's not like John Papadopoulos, but that's still a cool name. All right. Hundreds of retro Nintendo and Sega games have been discovered in a storage facility in Nebraska. A reseller called Gamer Room found the collection of SNES, Sega CD, Genesis, Saturn, and 3DO games, which were put in a storage unit when a local store closed in 1994. Plenty of copies of Madden were found, but some sealed gems were also discovered. So let's go over what a few of those were. Okay, the biggest one, a sealed copy of Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger!
Zach was just talking about that in the Direct episode.
Yeah.
Yeah! Like, one of the greatest RPGs ever made, a sealed copy. Worth $2,400. Final Fantasy 3, sealed, worth around $1,300. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time. Now, I'm not as excited about that one.
You started reading it all excited, and I was like, I've never heard this game before in my life, but you go off, King.
It's like when Tobey Maguire was like, "You're in the Avengers? What is that?"
Is that a band? Are you in a band?
Are you in a band? Oh, my favorite movie of all time. You know what? We may not be too pumped about that, but that sold for $1,400.
Well, it didn't sell. It's worth that much.
It's worth let's be honest, it's gonna sell. Someone's gonna pick all of these up
for sure.
at that price or more. And you know what's even funnier? The reseller, Game Room, they're the ones who found this collection. I've been there multiple times.
Where is it?
It's a really great game store. It's kind of it's actually by University of Nebraska at Omaha.
Oh, shit.
It's kind of right by there in that area off of Dodge. I didn't want to say that because like anybody who doesn't live in Omaha, Nebraska is going to be, which is the majority of people, surprisingly.
Yeah, I think most people in the world live in Omaha, Nebraska, right?
Yeah, everyone lives in Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay, that's what I thought.
But I've been to this game store before. I love it. It's they do a great job of selling new titles, but they've got so much great retro stuff too. So number one, I am so fucking happy that these guys are the one to find this collection, because like, shout out to Game Room. That is fucking outstanding. I love that. But also, it's so crazy to think that just right here in our hometown was this amazing stack of incredible retro games. They're just sealed away. Now they did say, I like how he kind of took a dig. Ed took a little bit of a dig by saying, plenty of copies of Madden were found.
Oh, sweet Madden.
I know. But on the other hand, like, there were gems in there, like, just within our own town. How cool is that? Nothing cool ever happens in Omaha, Nebraska.
I was gonna say, like, if there's a place where you can just throw something in a storage unit and forget about it, the place that you're gonna forget about it is in Nebraska.
Oh, good old Nebraska. Yeah, I don't even know what else to say. That was just a really cool piece. And it also makes you wonder how many of these other like sealed games or other retro pieces of gaming history are just in storage units. Or my favorite is to think about how many of these pieces of equipment I would love to own are just like in like attics or basements and boxes, you know? Just makes you think. Just makes you think.
Now I'm done thinking. Let's move to the quick takes.
Yeah. Sounds good. All right. Zach, what do we have for quick takes today?
Well, this first one is probably Peaches, right? Peaches?
Yeah, I'll take this one. I'll take the first couple. If it applies to me, I'll pick it up.
All right.
So, No Man's Sky. According to Sean Murray, they are not finished with No Man's Sky by a long shot. He says that they have a lot more stuff they want to add to it. They want to keep, they want to keep the updates coming. And I mean, they said this, and they also dropped a trailer for their new update that's going to add like mechs to the game, where you have like a robot that can follow you around and help you out, or you can get into the robot and shoot at other robots.
That is so fucking cool.
I might have to pick up No Man's Sky.
That's so cool.
They're still doing it to them, you know. They're proving the world wrong.
You know, I had to do it to him.
Sean Murray is like the reverse Nintendo. Like, he'll just tell you what they're working on, even if they're not working on it yet.
I liked that analogy.
But yeah, I don't have anything else to say on No Man's Sky other than that. If you guys had something else you wanted to add,
No Man, Fly.
It's cool.
That's a transition, but you wanna gate them on with this next one? Open the gate.
It wasn't your best, but it wasn't your best.
Took me
that's
3 tries.
Sure. Baldur's Gate 3. This is going to be the game coming from Larian Studios. The Larian Studios is also the one that made Divinity Original Sin 2, which many people know. I love Divinity Original Sin 2. Baldur's Gate 3 is going to be their next game. It's not a sequel to Divinity Original Sin, obviously, but it's going to be a game that plays like D&D. I'm very excited about it.
You don't say.
Yeah. I'm very excited for this game, but they said that it's currently in early access, and they said it's probably not coming out this year. They didn't say that they anticipate a 2023 release either, but there is some hope that it could be fully released in 2023.
Just take your time. Take your time, everybody. Just take your time.
It looks real good so far, my man.
All right. Excellent news.
All right. And now these ones are going to be especially quick. You guys remember Skull and Bones?
No.
Yes.
Okay. Ubisoft's pirate game Skull and Bones is no longer going to be a story game that included. It is exclusively multiplayer now. This is your, twice a year you get an update from Ubisoft about Skull and Bones. So here it is. Now expect later on this year to hear one more thing about it, and then not hear about it until next year when something totally different happens.
Right on. Good news.
Risk of Rain 2 has a couple new characters dropping here soon. Very excited about that. Risk of Rain 2, very fun game. Look forward to the new free content if you already have it.
All right, next up we have Soul Hackers update coming soon. Soul Hackers is like a spinoff of Shin Megami Tensei. And Atlas has launched a new countdown teaser website at soulhackers.jp.
That's me.
As well as an accompanying Twitter account. This countdown will end tomorrow at 20 Japanese Standard Time. I don't know if that's what JST stands for. I probably sound really stupid.
Japan Standard Time? That sounds right.
That sounds right to me.
Also at .jp, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
And definitely not Japan.
I do stuff.
It is Japan Standard Time. Did you know it's 4:12 a.m. in Japan right now?
God damn. They're all sleeping.
It's almost 4:20. Blaze it.
No.
Let's go. Moving on. Zach, what's the next one?
Oh, yeah. Monster Crown is coming out. It's a Pokemon hardcore spinoff. It's like based on like the Game Boy Color, like kind of sprite work. And there's like monster fusion and stuff. And it's coming out February 22nd. So I probably could have saved that for later, but I just wanted you guys to know a little bit about it because I don't think it's gonna be a Hype Game of the Week. But yeah.
I've checked out some gameplay, and I mean, it directly takes, like, it's hard to even say influence. This is Pokemon.
They kind of cloned it and made it more hardcore, I think is what they were going for. The game gave it more like a Digimon-esque too. Like, you're supposed to, like, fuse your Pokemon. It's whatever.
That's what I was saying, is it looks more like Digimon. Yeah, that's accurate.
All right, next up is Nintendo has a new rumors, and I just want to keep saying it just so I can keep saying I'm right. There is supposedly going to be a new Fire Emblem game coming out, but it might actually get and air quotes delayed until early next year because they have so many fucking games already. Why have them compete with each other when you could just keep the hype train going? And this is coming to us from Emily Rogers on familyboards.com. And Emily Rogers literally just says, oh, well, our fall lineup is already so stacked. We have Xenoblade, Bayonetta 3, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. Let's move FE to early 23. Cool stuff. Next up, we have, according to GameWatcher.com, CD Projekt Red made a new company called Rebel Wolves. They're working on a dark action role-playing game, dark fantasy. So that could be pretty cool.
Interesting.
The cynicist in me says they're trying to distance themselves from the CD Projekt Red name, but because of what just happened. But again, maybe not. If you didn't know, Majora's Mask is coming to Nintendo Switch Online expansion on February 25th. JP, this one actually looks like a really good port. Granted, I don't think they would show us shit if it was bad, but this actually looks like really good. I mean, like, granted, it's gonna be on a 7-inch screen. It looks like they upscaled it pretty well.
Yeah.
Did you get to watch the trailer? Do you think anything about it?
Yeah, I did watch a little bit of it. I think it's probably, honest to God, it's going to suffer a little bit in the same way that Ocarina of Time did, in that, you know, they're using the N64 version, right? Which is difficult because the 3DS just had a really cleaned up, amazing version within the last, it's hard to say even within the last few years. It's been out for a long time, but they look great. You mix that with the fact that Majora's Mask is just a Zelda game that's not for everybody. And I don't know, we'll see what the crowd anticipation for this game is like. I'm very excited. I think Majora's Mask speaks the most to like hardcore Zelda fans because of like its darker tone, but at the same time, the greater immersion it gives you into the Zelda world. It's a fantastic fucking game. I love Majora's Mask. I love everything about this game. Excited to play it on the Switch.
If you find 7 more friends, you could just buy it for $10.
All right.
All right. Or sorry, not a month, a year. Next up, Dragon Age 4. Peaches, you don't want to talk about this one, but I thought it was kind of neat. So again, we're in kind of like a renaissance of like gaming releases because everyone delayed everything the past 2 years because of, you know, that thing called COVID. So the reason I'm kind of providing context is because Video Games Chronicles Tom Ivan posted that Dragon Age 4 is reportedly in very good shape ahead of its potential 2023 release.
Excellent news.
So we're at the point where people are just saying we might actually release a game early? Question mark. It's still 18 months out from today, so not early 2023, maybe late 2023. And then again, there's a maybe there. So again, I don't know if people just aired on the side of the worst and they kept saying things would take longer, but now we're kind of getting like some flex back, some pendulum swing backwards where people are saying, oh, our game's actually going to release early, which could be unhealthy if crunch comes to need. So hopefully they realize they can still go back if they need to. We don't always have to have those big 2 year later patches. Burn. Upcoming game releases. JP, you want to take this one?
Yeah, absolutely. All right. On February 23rd, we have Edge of Eternity coming to the Nintendo Switch. On February 24th, we have Wait, what?
It's coming out.
Is Edge of Eternity coming out on the...
It's the 23rd. I messed up.
Edge of Eternity is on the edge.
I feel like I'm the one getting edged right now.
Nice.
Oh.
Nice.
My man.
All right. Let's try that again. My man. Oh, great heavens. Okay. Upcoming game releases. On February 23rd, we have Edge of Eternity coming to the Nintendo Switch. On February 24th, we have Never Alone, also coming to the Nintendo Switch. February 25th, this is the big one, Atelier Sophie 2, The Alchemist of the Mysterious Dream, coming to PlayStation 4, Switch, and PC. Elden Ring, coming to the PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. And Grid Legends coming to the PS5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. Finally, on March 1st, we have Flex 2 coming to the PS5,
Elex,
Xbox Series.
Or Alex.
Oh, I thought that was an E. On March 1st, we have Alex 2 coming to the PS5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One, as well as the PC, obviously. Far Changing Tides coming to the PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. And finally, we have Puzzle Quest coming to PC, iOS, and Android. All right, hype up one upcoming game. Now, obviously, we're going to do the mobile game, right?
No, Atelier Sophie 2, The Alchemist of the Mysterious Dream.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
You guys are all stupid. It's Elden Ring. Don't even meme on it. All right?
Don't even joke about that. All right, now, to be fair, you're totally right, Zach, because we've been talking about how everybody is looking forward to this fucking game.
But mainly me. I'm looking forward to this fucking game. And I need everyone to buy this game so they provide years of content for it with DLC and cool updates and shit, because this game, it looks like a D&D game, but like in like a eldritch horror fantasy. Like it just scratches all my boxes, man. I got some weird boxes, I don't know. But anyway, I'm fucking hyped for this game, guys. Where are you at? What are you getting it on? Are we all gonna play together?
I saw a video of a guy jumping over some fire breath with a horse. So that's about all. That's about all I'm gonna get from this game. I'm not getting it.
What?
Okay, but I also saw a character like this is Dark Souls to another level is how I've been kind of interpreting it. And I think they're even making it like there's like certain difficulties, perhaps, maybe, I don't know. So
is there a grapple hook?
Every game gets better with a grapple hook.
All I know is this guy just turned into a dragon at one point, and I thought that was really cool.
That's not a grapple hook.
That wasn't what
though.
Peaches asked.
Why be a grapple hook when you can dragon?
I would rather have the grapple hook if we're being real.
Well, I think you're an idiot.
Jesus.
Peaches knows he's smarter than me.
He must not have grown long enough on the peach bush, am I right? Didn't spend enough time in the bush, because that's where peaches come from. Anyway, dude, no, you know what, Zach? I am right there with you. Elden Ring has generated quite a bit of that pre-release hype. And just based on what we've seen about the game so far, I don't think that hype is unfounded. I think we do have a very special game. So, check out Elden Ring, coming out February 25th. We think it might be one of the next best things. So, keep your eye out on that. Does anyone else want to talk about anything before we go for the day? Peaches, have you been working on another Master Duel deck since this episode started?
Well, kinda, yeah. So I got this Herald deck that I'm working on, actually. I already got the Herald of Ultimateness.
Isn't that the guy that Zach hates?
That's the one, yeah.
Ha!
I respect him.
Take that, Zach. I hate you, but I do respect you.
It's like Herald of Perfection, but if Herald of Perfection was way better.
Well, speaking of Master Duel, I have to get in a few more rounds before we play some D&D here in a little while. So, does anybody have any last thoughts, comments, concerns before we get out of here?
I reserved a Steam Deck.
Woo! Get the fuck out!
So, we'll see how that goes. I volunteer as the test taker for our group, since Peaches isn't gonna do it.
I volunteer as tribute! Except, I have to give them $400. Which version did you buy?
I bought the $600 one.
Oh my god, dude, you're gonna have to tell us how it goes. I'm very excited to see what you think.
And the only reason I got that one is because they have like an anti-glare etched glass. And I was like, okay, if I can go to Florida and play this on the beach, I'm gonna be a happy man. Because my parents love to fucking chill on the beach. I hate the beach, man. Like, I mean, like, I like it for a little bit, but like, they like to stay there for hours. And I'm sitting here like, nobody wants to play football with me. I just have to sit here and enjoy the sun for 2 hours. That's like a gamer's worst nightmare.
Ugh. Call me Anakin Skywalker, because I hate the sand.
Have you guys ever seen that video of like the two guys playing catch and like some guy yells off at him, is like, hey, are you guys at that point of playing catch where neither of you wants to end, or both of you want it to end, but neither of you wants to be the one to call it off first?
I have seen that video, and they're both like, yeah. Yep. All right. I think that's going to do it for this episode of the Game Tea Podcast. I think we kept this nice and short for Czar. So, we'll see you all in a week. Your homework is to play Elden Ring. Until then, thank you so much for joining us on another episode of the Game Tea Podcast. We'll see you on the next episode. You just got your Game Tea.
Bye.
Mwah.
Later. It's not the same.
If you like what you heard today and you're looking for more ways to get your Game Tea fix, check us out on Patreon. With bronze, silver, and gold tiers starting at $2 a month, there are several incredible rewards you can receive for supporting the show, such as a follow from us on Twitter, access to a monthly Q&A session, an invitation to our private Discord server, and even bonus episodes of the podcast only accessible to patrons. Your donations will be used to make the show even better. The link to Patreon is in the description with our social media, so go check it out. Once again, thank you so much for listening to the Game Tea podcast.